My next guest is probably the most successful comedian to emerge from Ireland. In the last 10 years, he first came to the nation's attention working minimum wage jobs, and his last show saw him move to the Connemara Gaeltacht to learn Irish. So when he's not in front of the cameras, he's playing to packed houses around the country and indeed the world. So would you please welcome Mr. Des Bishop.
America, back, yeah, from the same, the mother-loving world, yeah, America, back, yeah, freedom is the only way now, America.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
You're so welcome, as always.
This is cool, man. I actually know Johnny that's doing the T-shirts.
You do?
Yeah, he's going to gigs for years. I said, you know the old ancient Irish mammy science that says, if you leave your cutter inside, you'll be freezing when you go back out?
Yes.
He will be freezing now when he goes back out.
He's looking like a kind of Irish Oompa Loompa.
Yeah.
At this stage.
It's cool, though. He's cool.
It's looking good. I think we may well have a world record on our hands, which is quite interesting.
People always said that to me when I came here, you know, if you leave your cutter inside, you'll be freezing when you go back out. I was like, no, I think you'll find your house is fucking freezing. That's why I can't take my coat. Why don't you turn the heat on? Why don't you turn the heat on? Then maybe I'll take my coat off. I know. The heating doesn't go on until 6 o'clock. It's on a timer.
Yeah.
It's like, I know, but you control that timer. It's not connected to the Angelus in any way.
It's so true. The last time we were speaking I'm sorry, your man just looks like such an idiot.
I know, it's class.
The last time Jason Byrne was, I think the last comedian was on, and he was telling us about your kind of encounters in Australia.
I know.
Was that all true?
Everybody's been coming up to me now saying you broke Jason Byrne's shoulder or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, that's Jason's story, and that's great. He's actually telling it down at the Cat Laughs, where I've just come up from. But yeah, I love Australia. It's great. The weather's great.
Yeah.
You know, it's a fantastic country. Irish people come back and they'd nearly annoy you with the way that they go on about, like, oh my God, Australia's like the best country I've ever been to in my life. Like, best year of my life. The weather's amazing. The people are amazing. You don't even have to wear shoes to work. It's fucking amazing. And then they come back and they're like, oh, this is shit. Ireland is shit. The weather is shit. This is so depressing. I was like, yeah, well, it wasn't depressing until you came back, asshole. Thanks for tearing down everything I've come to accept as my life. And but I went over there and I was, because I didn't want to like it, you know, because
tearing down everything I've come to accept as my life.
Well, I didn't want to like it. To be honest with you, I didn't want to like Australia because I've lived in Ireland long enough to not want to like things just because everyone else does, right? So when I got there, I was pleasantly surprised. Are you laughing at me?
I'm enjoying that.
That's good.
No, I'm enjoying your observations, which is good for business.
Yeah, so anyway, once I got there, though, I was blown away, and I just wanted to experience it properly, like, you know. So myself and Jason, we do a lot of stuff together in Australia.
Of course.
We rented a convertible, which is cool in Australia, you know. I mean, Australians aren't that big into convertibles because they're worried about the sun. Like, obviously, I am not worried about the sun when I'm in Australia. I have to get my quota for the year while I am there, right? So we get this we get the convertible, and of course, Jay is very red and very pale.
Sure.
And I was like, Jay, you have to put on some sunblock. And he's like, why? We're driving. I'll be grand. As if we were faster than Kansas somehow. And it's just great being in a convertible in Australia. It feels right, you know, as opposed to being in a convertible in Ireland where, like, obviously you have the initial stress of, like, worrying that, like, when it's going to rain. You spend most of the time, like, you know, and then finally, like, the 1 or 2 days of the year where the weather's actually hot enough for you to put the top down. Then you have the added stress of knowing that everywhere you drive, everybody passes thinking, look at that fucking arsehole in the convertible. he thinks he's fucking great.
Yeah, every
he
time.
loves himself. Nice convertible, asshole! Gonna put up your umbrella. Nice car. No way, man. No way they're gonna let you enjoy that, bro. It's great, though. Don't get me wrong.
No, I love the hocking up as you say, nice car. It's great.
I know, it's actually the second or third time in my career I've used hocking as a punchline.
No, but it's good. It's a good punchline. It's working for me, and I thoroughly enjoyed that.
It's great. It's almost like speaking Irish.
Is there is there anything you can do in Australia that should just quite simply be balled out of the pitch or slagged off for in Ireland? I mean, does it work that way?
Well, no, I mean, to be honest, like, for me going to Australia, I might as well go to Dublin because it's flipping Irish people everywhere you go. Like, every beach I went to, GAA jerseys as far as the eye can see. Even in the water, GAA jerseys. Like, now, leave it on, it's cheaper than sunblock, just leave it on. It's the Irish wetsuit. It's like, no way a shark is going to bite into a Cork jersey, no way. Like, they'd be too afraid. They'd be too afraid. Sean Hall will come pull across their nose. So, it's everywhere you go in Australia, man. Irish people, you know, on their year-long work and holiday visas, like refugees from reality, doing everything together because no one else would understand the way they behave. And now none of them want to come home, right? They're on a year-long work and holiday visa. After a year, they have to leave unless they can get sponsored by an Australian company like a little orphan child. And So they don't want to leave because it's really bad here now, right? The amount of Irish people I met in Australia, they were like, is it really as bad as they say? Like freaked out about the recession. I'm like, it's worse. They're dying on the side of the road. Don't come back. We've like no jobs for you. You can rape their system. We can't have you at home, right? So they have to stay there. They have to leave after a year unless they can get sponsored, right? But now none of them want to come back. So there's going to be an epidemic of Irish people in Australia looking for sponsorship of Australian companies. Eventually there'll be like ads on Australian television. Look at this pale white head. This is Seamus. Look at the rain falling around him and the way that he shivers. It's the middle of July. Look at the men standing beside Seamus. Listen to the language that they use with him. Go on, son, fuck off to Australia, you selfish prick. We never liked you. Go on and fuck, you never cared about anyone in this village. Sure, in the junior state fine, you don't give a shit about that either. Go on and fuck, we never liked you anyway. They're his friends. So they have to get sponsored and everything. Okay, thanks. I love it there, man.
Wow. And could you tell from the time you're there, is the recession hitting them as hard as it's hitting us, or is that just...
No, I mean, it's coming there, and they're getting worried about it, but they have like 6.5% unemployment. I was like, oh my God, we still thought we had a Celtic Tiger when we had 6.5.
Yeah.
And we're nearly double that now, and it's tough. I mean, like, even down in Kilkenny at the weekend, like, it is difficult, but Irish people definitely, I find, are... Like, it's heavy here, you know, like, people are, like, really heavy, like, oh, my God, what was I thinking? My mother always told me I was a fucking idiot, she was right, you know? Everyone's, like, taking it really personally, which is fine, you know? But I just think it's weird because for the sort of 10 years where the Celtic Tiger got stronger and stronger and stronger, all I heard was, I don't know, it was better before. We were poor, but we were happy. We've lost... Dude, the amount of people I heard say, we've lost something.
Yeah, we've lost something. Our soul.
Everybody always said, this is the thing, right? Everybody always said, we've lost something, right? And now that the recession has hit, everyone's going, actually, I was wrong. This is shit, this is proper shit. And I'm starting to realize that Irish people are only able to be happy in hindsight.
Yeah. But sport seems to be the kind of catch-all cure for all our
problems. Thank God, man. What would we do without sport in Ireland?
Oh, really?
You know? And I think that maybe, okay, Leinster got a lot of hype last week, and which was great. But the thing that did it for me was, like, without a shadow of a doubt, Shane Lowry winning the Irish Open.
Yeah, that was a great result.
It was, and he had a tough weekend this weekend, which is totally cool, but it wasn't easy, right? But, like, I was genuinely moved by Shane Lowry winning, and, like, after he won, I went straight on Facebook, and I went on my Facebook, like, congrats to Shane Lowry and his family, amazing achievement. I shed male tears. I won't explain. Tears. I won't explain about that. You can come to my show. It's coming on soon, and you can come to my show for that. But anyway, immediately, and I was genuinely moved by it, right? Immediately afterwards, I get somebody writes in on my Facebook, oh, typical Irish, he nearly bottled it. And I thought, well, for starters, what the fuck is typically Irish about that, right? Like, what is typically Irish in the sense of bottling it is typically Irish? Like, that, like, people try to say that all the time about things Irish, you know, oh, he's such a begrudger, that's typically Irish. No, that stuff is not typically Irish, it's typically arsehole, okay? There happens to be a lot of those arseholes in Ireland. We need to stop giving them a voice, right? What is typically, he nearly bottled it. How the fuck is that typically Irish? Like, Padraig Harrington's won 3 majors in the last 2 years. Leinster just won the Heineken Cup. The year before, Munster won it. We won the Six Nations. Where the fuck is all the bottling happening that it's typically Irish? But secondly, and secondly, because that is a common reaction, right? And it's just so annoying because you know he wanted him to bottle it because that would fit into his toxic worldview about everything.
Exactly.
Well, it's not me. I'm fucking miserable now. I'm gonna make everyone fucking miserable too. So, but what got me even more is, right, like, that is all he could get out of it, right?
Yeah.
Typically Irish. Like, to me, what he did, like, was typically Irish, the underdog rising above adversity. To me, he encapsulated in the fact that, just in case people don't know, he missed the putt, but then he went on to win it in the playoff holes, right? To me, that encapsulated all of Irish revolutionary history. In that, when he missed the putt, that was like 1916, right? So it was a tragedy that would lead to greater things, okay? Then when he got the putt and he won it, that was like the War of Independence, okay? And then when he didn't get the 500 grand, that was like the 6 counties because England got it. But eventually perhaps. No, don't get me wrong, I don't mean that. I don't mean that in a controversial way. I mean, I know I was brought up very Irish American Republican, and I'm not naive, but I actually do believe, for the first time in my life, that a united Ireland is possible, because I invite the Orange Men to come down from the north and visit any of our shopping centres around the south, and they will meet many orange women, and they will be happy.
They say Des Bishop, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
Des, thanks so much. Good to see you. Thank you.
I'm in the marquee.
Yes, I have it all here. I'll tell them all. I'll tell them all. Des Bishop is in the Heritage Hotel, Portisha, on the 25th of June. The INEC in Killarney on the 27th. The Marquee in Cork, 5th of July. DesBishop.com for detail. And you made the... where'd you come from? Kilkenny tonight to join us?
Yeah, and I'm going right back
Right
down
back.
to
So
Kilkenny
thanks for
to
making...
party. And our football matches tomorrow, Rest of the World versus the Irish Comedians. I play for the Rest of the World. Come down and support us.
Come on, Ireland. Des Bishop, ladies and gentlemen. Go on.